real life where you use your power. And so maybe this is fun to see, for one moment. But the next slide shows you for a long time. And we're still playing around with it a little bit. But and this is from it's for a whole year.
Here obviously overview,
Yeah.
So actually, you see more or less, it's good to figure out where you can save something, what is the main use you have. So, and then on the third moment there, we have few weeks, not much of that little hole over there. And that was when the air conditioning was broken. So you see exactly what kind of influence the air conditioning has on it.
Yeah, you see it here as well. The chiller unit, which makes the water cold, that runs through the air handling units, 35%, and the air handling units, 27%. So this was exactly what Thomas was saying, a little bit over 50%, in fact here it's 62% if I add it well, that you consume just for the air handling. And another interesting thing is what Harry was saying as well. You have modern systems, but they use more fuel or energy, and that's our sewage treatment system. We produce really clean water comes out of the ship, but it does take 10% of your power need. So yeah, to be sustainable also has a price. And it's also interesting to see that, in like the whole laundry system, if you see it here, it's a lot less than we maybe thought. And so, meter is weighted, to measure is to know. This helps a lot. Also, if you, for example, you're running one generator and you are using your battery peak shaving, and if you want to do it for a longer time, then you have to manage your power usage as well. So with this kind of data, it really helps you to figure out what to do. It's really a simple thing. Amazon, we bought a whole set, and you clamp them on the cable, so you don't have to put it install it in a plug. It clamps around the cables, and it runs via Wi-Fi on board. We're still playing around with it, but I think it's really neat and it can be really helpful.
For sure, it's really helpful because you get the information what we need, and then we see what happens. The same also for the big shaving. Of course, you have big shaving. It's also electricity. You need to cool down that again. So you need also chilled water in there that it doesn't get too warm. Also over there, it's always this, if I use something I have to also bring some different energy in it. So for the shore power system, the same, that it's able from, doesn't matter what kind of current voltage come in, that you can use it. You need this umformer, what is it, the converter, to get the frequency and the power you want to have on board. But also there, there is a lot of heat comes in over there. And if you use them then in Florida, so we have to make special open ventilation opening in the deck for get the heat out over there. So I think, if you change energy from one to the other one, so most of the time you get heat or cool out of it. So it's also sold by Thomas 50%, but it makes, if you can earn there some things.
Well, the next slide they show the results so far. Just some fun pictures. This was on the quay in San Francisco. You just take a cable apart and you start with a local electrician. You start fiddling about until it works. This was a cable that we use in Boston. Everywhere it's different. Our first tryout of HVO30 in IJmuiden when we left But in total, and we see that increasing every year, we are able to hook up on shore power. The last time we were in Amsterdam, we still couldn't hook up, but now the passenger terminal, you can hook up. Den Helder, in fact, was the first port where we ever hooked up on proper shore power. Yeah, still a lot of ports have no shore power availability. Also in Rotterdam, impossible. I'm ashamed to say. And you see that we already use quite some HVO 30 and HVO 100, but you know it's not that we can load it everywhere. We change our catering options. For example, when we do events for one of our owners, the municipality of Amsterdam, most of the catering that we do is vegetarian. I mean, that's not completely plant-based yet, but you know, those are the steps towards a better goal. Wastewater treatment plant working in ports. That's quite a thing because according to the MARPOL regulation, we are allowed to use that wastewater system in port, but unless the port authorities have a rule saying different, which means that if the harbor master says, according to his regulation, that we are not allowed to use that wastewater system, even though clear water is coming out, then we can't use it. And then we again have quite a problem, because for this wastewater treatment system, which is a biological system that the wastewater goes from one tank to another, we don't have a lot of wastewater storage left on board. So our capacity went from, I think, 22 tons to 6 tons cubic meters, which means that we have to get pump out trucks if we are not allowed to use our wastewater system. And then a big truck has to come, and they have to come quite often, which is also costly. So again, you have a nice good system, and then you're not allowed to use it. So yeah, that's another bummer.
Yeah, that is, if you start this thing to do, I think there is really a lot of improvement in it, and somebody has to be the first one. And about this, the rules, yeah, of course, there are a few harbors that it's really clear. They say, okay, no discharging, doesn't matter what. But of course, if you think, yeah, we have a sewage treatment plant, so then the harbor master is, sewage, no, not discharging here. So you have to discuss that first and ask them really, but where is the rule? Where it say that doesn't can use that? So it's, yeah, if you're at the beginning for that to figure out. It costs a lot of energy, shore power also, it's no problem, you just get the connections of the country what they have over there, and you connect it to your cable, and then you can use it. But yeah, if you ask for beforehand about agents of what they have, it's not known well. So. Yeah. In the Mediterranean Sea, in a lot of yacht harbors, is no problem. They all have shore power over there. That is easy, but yeah, then we have a problem that we are on passenger vessels, so it's not always that we can go in your harbor. Sometimes we have to go to a passenger terminal because ISPS. So there are a lot of challenges on the way.
That's right, and so yeah, a lot of new technique. Also, our wastewater treatment system, it took a few years to get it running properly. It's quite a complicated system. So it's not, you know, some off-the-shelf kind of equipment that you install and it's working. We had to make sure that we use the right kind of cleaning materials, that our guests were using the right soap, the right shampoo. Never head and shoulders, because that was particularly bad for our biotreatment system. Yeah, those kind of funny things. SCR, the exhaust cleaning system for our main engine, we've had a lot of issues with that, and still not completely solved. So, yeah, maybe we are pioneering in these kind of things on a ship like ours, retrofitting it, having issues with space, where to store what, where do we have to put this tank, how do we get it from here to there?
6.6.
6.6 meters extra, yeah, we still live like that. Of course, if you add another 6.6 meters, the ship would be a lot longer, which would also involve a lot of additional port costs, pilotage, so on, key dues, one thing leads to the other, but still, that would be nice.
But go back to sustainability about the sewage treatment plant. I think it's already a good system. And if you build a new ship, you can organize, you can plan that. So actually, the system works if you don't use the wrong shampoo or whatever. So it works perfect. But it's very important that the ventilation is correct for that. But if you have already an existing ship, where you put this installation. So we had some curves in the exhaust pipe or the ventilation pipe of the system, so that caused a lot of problem. But if you build new, of course, then you can think about that. You put it on a coma where you also get a good ventilation on deck. And we thought we do ventilation in the mast because you don't trust it. Anyway, there comes some smells out maybe, so put it higher. But there is all these things. If you build it new, it's easy, and you can think beforehand about it. If you do retrofit, you have some challenges. SCR, if you have a fishing vessel, if you have a merchant vessel, perfect, it's super system. But on a sailing vessel, because if you use the engine, only what we do with day trips, we set some sails and then maybe have the engine slow for better steering and controlling. So for SCR, they calculated you have a minimum power from 30% pressure and belasted. But also the team we had, so they looked at everything before we started with Go Green. They said, okay, our engine, we use them the power netback average 29%. So at the beginning, the exhaust pipe was dirty. So it's easy, you can solve it. You go 1 hour full ahead and then it's clean again. It's burns clean. So, but sustainability, question mark over there. So I think for each vessel that is the engine continue running, it's a good system. It works perfect. But if you don't have the power on it, to use it all the time, you have really make a question mark about that. Is it worth to do it?
Well, and next steps. This is our last but one slide. Focus on biofuels, obviously. Although I do wonder if the whole world changes to biofuels. I mean, we don't fry enough French fries to have enough biofuel for the whole world. So it's still a temporary solution. Maybe in 10 years' time we do put 6.6 meters in between and we have a proper hydrogen power system. I don't know. Plant-based catering, shore power. And then one last thing that we didn't mention, but it's an important one as well, that's routing. As a sailing ship, you always do that, but sometimes you do have to go to places for commercial aspects that are against the wind, or you have to be there in a hurry. So that means that you still put your engine on. If you can avoid that, you are definitely sustainable. And as Thomas was saying, sailing ships are already a lot more sustainable, but within the sailing ships operations, we do look at the maximum of possibilities.
Yeah, I think we're on a good way.
Yeah.
We make it cleaner.
Yeah. I think that's it. This is the route that we took during our world tour. I joined from Cape Town. We didn't even make a stop in Brazil, but straight to the Caribbean, and we sailed 6,000 miles without using the engine. That was the best sustainable way possible.
And
but
so
still,
the air conditioning.
I wanted to say you still have all your electric systems on board, so it's more than 50% of the fuel consumption is on your systems on board. It's not your main engine, and So managing that power, I think, is the best way. Or as Peter was saying earlier, look where you can reduce your power need. That's at the source of the issue, then you are best off. I think that's it for now. Any questions or answers? Q&A?
Yeah, thank you very much. So very nice to see how busy you are with this subject and what kind of issues there are. And yeah, I was thinking. You just said it. The echo is a big thing which uses a lot of energy, and also, and I missed a little bit. Why isn't there a lot of efforts on insulation, for instance?
A good one. I mean, if you go to extreme areas, then you need more insulation. I mean, the ship is properly insulated, but well, for example, with the Bark Europa going to really cold areas, then you put extra insulation in to keep the cold out, and so you don't have to put the heater further up. In our case, the areas we are, I think, in retrospect, they probably should have put more insulation on the hull.
I remember the sheet of Thomas about the curtain, which really it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, that's true. Also, our ship is painted black, so actually you attract the heat. So we put a lot of efforts also in all the pipes from the chilled water that are all insulated, because at the beginning when they built the ship, also to start with it, and 25 years ago, you have different material where you can do things. And time and money question is also always in the practical part. So we did a lot with Armaflex and insulated everything. So, but then, so at the moment also you have to repair something to get it open. Then you have to be clean on it to, build it back how it was and everything. It's not always, if you're somewhere at sea, you don't have the material and you have to close the room again for the guests or whatever. So then we are really looking into that also now, because when they built the ship, there was a kind of foam insulation in the long room. Now at the moment, we get a new long room in it, and so also now we get it proper insulated. Of course, on deck you have already wood, which is not that good as the curb, but there are wooden decks on it. So we're looking into that, but of course, you never will reach 100%, but we're busy with it.
More questions?
I wanted to do that.
Thank you very much for this talk about your refit. I was wondering, when the ship was built before 2000, were any of these sustainable options already on the table as well, and why weren't they implanted back then? And if they weren't, then what changed?
I have no clue if sustainability was considered at that time. I think we're talking about 1995 till 1997 during the design stage. We should ask probably the Dijks and Naval Architects, because they're probably the only ones who still know that exactly. But I think at that time sustainability was not a serious thing when building ships. I think they were at that time already looking at garbage handling and all those kind of things. So and why did it become an issue later on? Well, I think we all woke up more or less. I think it's become a worldwide concern for everybody who is seriously thinking about what they are doing within a company, whether that's making furniture or running a ship. It's something you really have to pay attention to.
Another question.
Yeah, you mentioned quite a lot more complexity in systems. So, and you get a few hints already, but how much has that engineering workload gone up?
A very good question. Also because the ship is getting older, the ship needs more attention. And with all these new highly technical equipment, it required us to go from 2 to 3 engineers. But also I think the level of knowledge of the engineers has gone up. Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's also, yeah, we're looking now in also more experienced engineers on board, of course, and it's really difficult to say because a lot of systems, like this big safety problems what we had, that there is a lot of electronics things, so, and they solved that actually from the shore side, because then how you regulate how much power comes in and the charging of the batteries, that is all remote controlled by shore side. So, and I hear the chief engineer, I have to call them again or send a mail so that they're doing things on that. Then, of course, you have the complete engine room was out, and it was new designed how to get things in. But then also because I think there was some time pressure. Of course, it's also not too perfect done. So you get a kind of an extra workload because first I have to move the pipe. Because when everything almost was in, then oh yeah, we forgot this one, and then in front of everything you get a pipe, and each time you go behind it. And also like the chiller system we get, the sewage treatment system. That was one unit, but we just moved inside, and as you saw on the whole picture, when it was dry, there's not that much space. So also it was moved quite close to the wall. So actually, if you need to access something behind, it's also get difficult. If you have to space everywhere, so, and if you build over new, then there is, you can think about it.
One last question.
Thanks for your presentation. To get back to the 6.6 extra meters, if I understood well, that would be necessary for generating your own hydrogen. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? I think hydrogen is high energy stuff, so you need to take along reactive chemicals, or what would it look like in the context of the 6 meters?
I really have only very, very limited knowledge about it. I was not involved with the project, but I think we needed a large storage for grains, corals.
Yeah, of course, that also. The main problem is if you go with hydrogen, you need a battery pack. Actually, when you can cover more or less your whole energy you need on board. And I think by the model here was 35 tons for 500 megawatt. Maybe our could be smaller than on the yacht Thomas is building there. But you need the space for these batteries, for the battery pack. And at the moment is, or we get some crew cabins a day, something, so there was just the space missing for that. And the hydrogen, not under pressure and liquid, was an idea because they had a powder, a washing powder it looks, with a bore in it, so and that you can store just in your tanks or in containers, whatever. And then you add water to it, and then you get a chemical reaction. So for the, of course, also for, but we can use fuel tanks for that. But the problem is also there is some sludge over afterwards, so you can bring that sludge home again, and then you can refresh it and make real clean. I don't know 5 years ago, 5 years ago we did the Formula 4, something. But also costs a lot of energy to bring it back again, that you can use it. So sustainability, you use energy, you will have energy, you move energy, you lose energy. But of course, that is, if you use wind, that's already over here. If you use solar, it's nice to have. At the moment, I think it's just with electricity. It's a moment very good, very green. How we get the green energy, that is still, yeah, you have to figure out. Of course, I can see the stations for the electro cars. There is a fuel generator. On the back side, with the front side, you have your plug for your car. So, yeah, it's a good example how you do it. I think this way we have to go. But yeah, there are lots of, the space was the 6 meter 6 what we had. And it's not only because the hydrogen. Anyway, we need some more space on board. We get more and more. Every ship gets heavier. You get new things on board. You need space for that. But for the hydrogen, it was for the battery lock.
Andy and Reinhard, thank you very much. And, knowing that to take a cruise on a normal cruising ship is the most the most polluting way to take your holidays, I think the effort you're taking on Stad Amsterdam makes it possible to do it another way, and then also to be on a much more beautiful ship. So thanks a lot for this presentation, and good luck with all the work still to come. Thank you all for being here. We still have one presentation to go, and that will be in half an hour. It will be, we go to England, to London, and Fredo will take us along with the restoration of Thames Bark, who is going to sail with freight. So be here in half an hour, take some rest, and take a cookie, and see you later.